in research on retinal implants. Since 1995, I received several grants from the German Federal Ministry and the German Research Agency. I have no financial interest in any of the products, and I receive no royalties or any consultant fees. However, during the research time, I was a member, and I'm still a member, of the German EBIRET research group with several other retinal people in Germany, like Klaus Heimann, who was my surgical mentor, Achim Wessing from Essen, Peter Wiedemann, and others too. Our group, I think, did some major contributions to epiretinal implants. We described the tag fixation for epiretinal implants. We described specific cortical activation after retinal stimulation, and I was responsible for a clinical trial where we inserted a fully implantable retinal implant system, which you can see over here. And this clinical trial was also successful. However, today I talk about the first commercially available system to which we have access in Aachen due to the German reimbursement system of new treatments, of new diagnostic and therapeutic treatments. This is the Argus 2 system, fabricated by a company, Second Sight, in the United States. It's a 60 electrode implant with a wireless data and energy transfer, and up to now there are 41 patients worldwide implanted with the system. It consists of an external part, namely a spectacle frame with a camera and the transmission system, a visual processor, and the implant itself. The implant consisted also of an external part which is on the scleral surface, and an internal part which is the electrode array fixated on the retinal surface. You can see this electrode array here placed on the center of the retina, and in a sketch the external parts on the sclera. The Second Sight company performed a phase 1, phase 2 trial for safety and efficacy. It was a prospective, non-randomized trial with a 3-year follow-up per subject, and they want to test if visual perception can be achieved in patients with severe and profound outer retinal degeneration, namely retinitis pigmentosa. Patients were included if they have no light perception or bare light perception. In the study, they had 30 patients enrolled, and I'd like to summarize the results, which were already published in ophthalmology by Mark Humayun and co-workers, and which were presented already on several conferences. The summary of the results in terms of safety, I think, is extremely important. Within the 30 study subjects, there were 3 subjects with a conjunctival erosion, which can be healed. There were 3 out of the 30 patients with a so-called pseudoendophthalmitis, which is a inflammatory reaction without evidence of any bacterial problems. There were 4 patients with a transient hypotony. That means this is a low pressure in the eye. There were 3 patients with a retinal tear and a retinal detachment, which can be solved. And there were 3 patients with some other conjunctival problems and 1 patient with a dislodged tag. These complications have to be seen in relation to the surgical process, and for a retinal surgeon, the amount of adverse events is well within the range of normal vitreoretinal procedures. If you think, for instance, at macular translocation, which was several years ago a treatment for wet macular degeneration, we had 70% of patients with retinal detachment after the procedure, 7 out of 10. So in this case, the complication is really in a, let's say, normal range. The company performed several functional tests like square localization. The patient has to identify a spot on a computer screen, and you see that when with the system on, the accuracy of finding the spot on the computer screen was much, much better than with the system off. The grating visual acuity was also obtained, and it was reported that about 8 of the 30 patients had a visual acuity which was better than logMAR 2.9, and the best visual acuity was about 1.5 to 2% of visual acuity. The company also performed in this clinical trial orientation and mobility tests. Users of the device were asked to follow a white line on the floor, and you can see, for those of you who can see, that with the system on, patients had a much better performance following such lines with the system, when compared to the system off. And this is also when patients, when users of the device are asked to identify large-scale letters, it was possible for the patient to identify those letters, and by scanning these letters, they were also capable of reading very large letters and small words. So in summary, what can be achieved with the Argus 2 device? We found a visual acuity of 1 to 2% with a visual field of about -10 to 10 degrees. In Germany, the system is available and the costs are covered by the insurance companies in certain so-called certified hospitals, which is possible, for instance, in our hospital in Aachen, in Cologne, also in Munich, and in a few others. The surgery consists of the removal of the lens, vitrectomy, removal of epiretinal membranes, which are not so rare in retinitis pigmentosa. Then the implant is positioned, and after the experience with these inflammatory reactions, users are forced to use antibiotics in the surgery, and after that no inflammatory reactions were observed, and then the eye is closed. The Argus 2 implant is the first approved retina implant which is available for blind retinitis pigmentosa patients. The clinical trial, which I showed you the results, were positive in terms of safety and long-term stability. Adverse events are comparable to any other major vitreoretinal procedure, and the results from the phase 1, phase 2 trial were confirmed in the application of the system after approval. However, as we heard with the other approaches, rehabilitation and training is essential. It's learning how to use artificial vision. The system can be upgraded in terms of visual processor unit, software, and external elements. It is necessary to discuss with the patients the expectations, and in my view, it's also necessary to evaluate neuropsychological characteristics of each of the possible candidates. With this, I will finish my talk at that time, and I think we may discuss after Fatima's talk. She's talking about rehabilitation and training. Thank you.